Hey, Rachel, I've got your Module 2 project 2.06. Let's take a look at it together. Here's your template you turned in. Looks like you chose the wish list. So, option one, the wish list, create a wish list by selecting at least three items. Find a store you can purchase it, record the price. Think about what user inputs required, how you're going to write that to calculate the subtotal, the tax, and the total purchase cost, including tax and shipping. Use 6.5% for the tax rate. I know that's lower than Northwest Arkansas. Ours is like 9.25% tax here. 5.99 just flat rate shipping. So that doesn't matter. The output must include name of each item with its price, the subtotal, the total tax, the total shipping, and total purchase cost. Okay. And let's see, option two, option three, we didn't choose. Ask the user to enter at least three numeric values. So at the very least, they're entering the prices, even if they're not choosing the items. Use integer and float when needed, whether it's got a decimal or not. Make sure you calculate things correctly in the appropriate math functions and clear, well organized output. Great. All right. So have the users input the total of all expenses. Okay, great. That's the three numeric input statements that's required. Use good variable names, apply the proper functions. So, yeah, calculate everything correctly. Display the calculations, have it look neat. Great. That looks super. All right, let's see. Oh, here's your code. I'm going to copy that while I'm here. All right. And let's see. Here's your output. Nice. Let's shop on Amazon. You got a nice little, like a receipt. Three items with prices. You got subtotals, taxes, fees, and a grand total down here. So it looks like it has all of the appropriate stuff. Thanks for shopping. Okay, end of invoice. Let's see. You had errors on a certain string and there was nothing wrong with it. Couldn't figure. So you deleted it and run the program again. Say there's an error on the next line. Look the whole program. So I didn't finish writing the last. Yeah. A lot of times the error's on the line before the one it's telling you there's an error on. So that's good. I'm glad you found that. Let's see. I want to add white space, put more words on the right, having everything. Don't know how to do that. Yeah, we're learning. We're getting better. You get advice on how to make it better from other people. Advice on writing it faster. They've been doing a long ways. A lot of times we do things the long way when we're learning, for sure. Keep practice on program receipts. Once good, we want to create a portfolio calendar. Yeah, absolutely. And you had some misspellings, potential bugs, misspelling strings get mixed together. All right, very good. I like that. All right, let's take your program and paste it into a Python idle and see what it looks like. Okay, so let's run the program. How much was the book? Okay, you put these prices right here, so I'm going to enter those first. $17.99, and you found this dresser for $22.65 and $19.99. Okay, so this is what yours prints out. Collaborate Mary, 17.99. There's the three numbers I entered. You have a subtotal of 60.63. That looks right. Tax, you just put 6.5%. You didn't put how much the tax actually is. You're supposed to calculate and put how much is the tax on $60.63. The shipping is $5.99. And let's see your total. Is your total right? Well, let's see. How much should your tax have? Let me see what you did. Let's put a calculator up here. So 70, let's see how much your tax would have been. You did 73 and 12 cents, 11.9. We haven't talked about how to round that yet. So you got 12 cents. And if we subtract off the 5.99 and then we subtract off the 60.63, this will tell us how much your tax is. You charge $6.50, not 6.5%. If it was 6.5%, $6.50 would be the tax on $100 because 100 times 6.5% would be $6.50. So how much should the tax have been? 60.63. We'll have to look at your calculation to see how I got that messed up there. Times 0.065. That's 6.5%. 60.63 times 0.065. The tax should have been $3.94. So you overcharged the person on tax. $3.94 was all the tax on just $60. All right, I want to try, I got it here. Let's try another. Let's run it again. Let's try it again. Let's say that I found this book for $15. I looked at a different website than you did. So I looked at the same book or whatever. It's $15. I couldn't find the dresser for $22.65. Maybe the dresser I found was, let's say, $100. And the ukulele case, $19.99. Okay, I found that for $19.99. I'll say that. $15, $100, $19.99. Oh, your subtotal is still $60.63. It didn't calculate that correctly. It should have added these three things up and came with, the $134.99, looks like. So I'm getting a bargain because I'm getting $134.99 worth of stuff for $60. And then of course the taxes we know is not, it's calculating $650 and $5.99. And so this is the exact same total with the numbers that you originally found, which you have as comments. That's fine to have those as comments. But for your program to be useful, it should, you'll be able to accommodate if I find different prices, I find sale prices, I do anything, I should be able to, it should calculate the prices I enter, but it's not. So let's take a look at what's going on with that. So there's your printout. Let's shop on Amazon. Items 3 right there. How much was the book? So there's the name of the book, Collided by Mary, and how much I entered. What I input in there. Second item, third item. All right. Oh, well, you didn't have it calculate anything. You just printed a total already. So we should have something like subtotal equals, let's see, what do we call it? First item. That's what we called it. First item plus sec item plus third item. Oh, I can put a space in there just to make it look right. Right, we should calculate that, and then we can do subtotal equals, take that out, and print that with it. We got to do it as a string because it's going to be a number trying to print with a string over here. But if we do that, it should add those three together and give me the total right there. So let's look at this. Run program. I'm going to say just numbers like $20, $30, $40, just easy numbers that we can add together ourselves to know if it's right. Oh, it added them like it's text, 20, 30, 40. So there's the problem. You didn't tell it this was going to be numbers. It thinks this is actually text. So that's why it couldn't add together. You have to tell it that this is going to be a float, probably. Like somebody's probably going to enter some cents. I didn't. I entered $20. But if I entered $19.99, it would need to be a float. So we have to go in front of these inputs and say, hey, by the way, you're going to be dealing with numbers here. So be sure to notice that these are numbers when you're doing things. So if I do this and say these are all float values, that's probably going to mess up this print statement because now it had no problem printing that because this is a string and it thought this was a string, but now it's not. It's a number. Let's see. How much is a book? 10, 20, 30. I'm just putting in a number. Oh, hold on. Cannot concatenate string and float. Yeah. Now that this is a number, we got to tell it, treat it like it's not a number so you can print it together. Got to put that little string in front of it. All right, so it says, okay, now act like these are just another string of numbers. Now let's see. Now it should be able to print those. How much is a book? 10. How much is dresser? 20. How much is ukulele? 30. Okay, now it calculates $60. That's 10 plus 20 plus 30. Let's test another number just to make sure. 40 plus 55, 23. I'm just going to put a float value in there. And $99. Yeah, 194.20. Okay, now it's doing it. You should add together whatever numbers they entered instead of just typing in a number because, like I said, if I found them on sale, then these are different prices. Now let's see about fixing the taxes. So again, we want to take that off. Make a $sign there, and plus, we're just going to call it tax, but we got to print it as a string. And let's calculate it up here. So tax would equal the subtotal above times 0.065, 6.5%. 0.06 is 6%, and then put that 5, 6.5%. That's how we write 6.5% as a decimal. So now we can calculate the tax. And and you have the ABC cost that we'll change that too in just a minute. But let's test it to make sure the tax is working. So let's make it add up to 100 so we'll know. Well, let's make it add up to 200. So 200 times 6.5% would be $13 because yours was already charging $6.50 like it was $100. So we're going to double it. So let's make these add up to 200. So the book was $50. The dresser was $100 and the ukulele case was $50. So that's 200. We're doing it $200 and $13 tax. That's right. 6.5% of 200 is $13 and a shipping fee. So now all we have to do is fix your total still has the 73 because you just added these together. We need to get rid of these because that's not correct. The costs should be the subtotal plus tax plus and shipping. Since it's just $5.99, we can either set a variable that says shipping equals $5.99 or we can just add the $5.99 here. We printed that it is $5.99 and that never changes regardless of what the total is. So it doesn't matter. We could do shipping equal $5.99 and do it that way. But since it never changes, we'll just add it straight. That works fine. So now when it prints the total costs, we've corrected it to be the subtotal plus the tax plus $5.99. So let's do this again with the same $200 right here and see if this works. $50, $100, $50, $200, $13, $5.99, total $218.99. Let's put a dollar sign in there just to make that look nice. So I put a little dollar sign in front of 218. But that's 200 plus 13 plus 599, 218.99. Okay, so you just had some issues in that you weren't calculating things. You just calculated it yourself. You're the one that added everything up and made a total. You didn't let Python do anything. So you skipped all the calculations. And I don't know if you were having trouble with those errors because you didn't have the float in there. You didn't tell it was a number. So it was treating it just like it was text. Because when it did 10, 20, 30, my subtotal was 10, 20, 30. It just added them together like it was adding letters together and making a word, right? So yeah, anytime you're dealing with numbers, be sure and tell Python, hey, this is a number. And like this one, it could have a decimal. So call it a float. If we knew it wasn't going to have a decimal, like how many of these would you like to buy? We could make it an integer, right? INT, because we know that's not going to be, I want to buy 2.5 of them. We know that's going to be just a straight number. But yeah, just a few issues there. Overall, it's nice. The output looks great. You're getting really good at cleaning this, make it look really professional. I really like the output of this. That's very nice. If you're wanting to move things over and line things up, like you were talking about, move things to the right, like we could line these up a little bit by when we print that, just put extra spaces in here, and then tax may need a few more spaces, but we can kind of line them all up. And then the total. So I kind of lined all these lined up right there because they all start in the same place. They all start right here. So I'm trying to line up. So let's just run it to see if that kind of cleans up what we're talking about. 25, 35, 45. Just put numbers in there. Yeah, see, that kind of lined them up. Because you can always print spaces as long as it's inside those quotes, because it's going to print exactly what's inside the quotes. So what I put inside the quotes was subtotal with a bunch of spaces and the dollar sign. So I can line those up that way. And I could have moved them over farther, anything like that. We could put, you kind of did that up here with the periods, but you can do it with spaces if you don't want to use periods. So just line those up. And it'd probably be good to put dollar signs up here inside the quotes. Well, just so that shows that these are dollars, 25, 35, 45. So just a few issues and calculations. I don't take off for this not being spaced over, but you had that in your comments. So I was just showing you because I do this video to help you be a better programmer. That's why I do these. I could just write comments on your Google Doc and give it back to you, but sometimes it's harder to understand what I'm trying to explain to you. And so I make these videos to help you be a better programmer and kind of show you areas where it can be better. And that was one thing you was talking about. I like that. I would like to move things to the right. Maybe it looked better. Yeah, we can do this by adding spaces in there, just like you added the periods, because you kind of did that up where you printed the items. That's, you were thinking about it already. So I like that. It's looking good. But just if you get trouble trying to get calculations and things, email it to me. Send me a copy of your code, copy and paste it in an email and say, hey, Mr. Brock, for some reason it's not adding my numbers together. It's doing 10, 20, 30 as and I'll run it and I'll help figure out those things and email you back. Oh, you need to put float on this line. And then it knows it's a number. Those type of things. So I don't know what issues you were having that where you ended up just, calculating it yourself rather than Python calculating it. But think about that. A user may have different prices they're entering and stuff like that. So you want to make it as user friendly as possible. Overall, I like it. It's good. Just got to clean up a few things, and I'll get this feedback to you, and we'll see you next time in class.